Hello and welcome. You're watching Express News with me, Munnan Bhattacharya. It's a show in which we take you through the top 100 news stories of the day. Let's get started. Delhi police in a charge sheet filed on the 13th of February names JNU student Sharjeel Imam as instigator of the violence that took place in Jamia Millia Islamia and New Friends Colony area on 15 December. Police is also examining the role of political party Popular Front of India in instigating the violence. According to the charge sheet, the police found empty bullet cartridges belonging to 3.2 mm pistol on the spot. No Jamia student has been named. Police also revealed that they are still investigating the CCTV, call detail records and statements of over 100 witnesses attached as evidence. A Delhi court today sent a JNU student Sharjeel Imam to judicial remand for 14 days after he was arrested by Delhi Police Crime Branch on charges of making a seditious speech. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has welcomed the Supreme Court's judgment on Permanent Commission for Women in the Army. He said that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has supported the idea of Permanent Commission for Women and announced the change in policy in his Independence Day speech of 2018. The Defence Minister said that in 2019, the Defence Ministry granted a Permanent Commission to women in all 10 branches of the Indian Army. 302 Wuhan evacuees out of a total of 406 who were being housed at an ITBP quarantine facility in Chola have been released. All 406 have tested negative for novel coronavirus in the latest sample examination and are being discharged in a phased manner. On the fourth day of the 13th COP to the Convention on the Conservation of Migratory Species of Wild Animals conference at Gandhinagar, Union Minister for Environment, Forest and Climate Change Prakash Javadekar announced India's plan to restore 1,000 wetlands in the next 5 years. Secretary Ministry of Environment C.K. Mishra said that Central Asian Flyway is the main agenda of COP13 and that at this edition the issue of marine litter will also be taken up strongly. Secretary General of Ramsar Convention on Wetlands, Martha Rojas Orego, praised the efforts made by the Indian government for designating and implementing policies for wetlands. She also said that the way Indian government is helping state governments for the management of wetlands is commendable. The Supreme Court today adjourned the petition filed by fugitive liquor baron Vijay Mallya against the proceedings initiated by the Enforcement Directorate to seize his assets in India. Next proceedings will be held in March. In the petition filed last year, Mallya submitted that no properties other than those related to Kingfisher Airlines, which is facing cases of alleged irregularities, should be attached. A central team is visiting locust-affected areas of Rajasthan to take stock of the damage caused to crops due to insects. The state has witnessed the biggest ever locust attack in which almost 3.71 lakh hectares has been damaged since May 2019. In some districts, the state government has already completed the crop assessment and distributed ex-gratia. External Affairs Ministry issues fresh travel advisory for Indian nationals wishing to travel to Iraq due to the escalation of tensions there. Cautions to avoid all non-essential travel to and within Iraq. Assures embassy in Baghdad and consulate in Erbil will continue to function normally to provide all services. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, who is in Brussels, held talks with leaders of the European Union on bilateral issues. The minister met the European Trade Commissioner Phil Hogan and discussed prospects for India-EU economic cooperation. Besides, talks with European Council President, Executive Vice President for the European Green Deal and European Union Commissioner for International Partnerships. The country's largest car maker, Maruti Suzuki India, launches a BS6 compliant version of Ignis cars priced between 4.89 to 7.19 lakh rupees, powered by 1.2-litre petrol engine and both manual and auto gear shift transmission options. It also have SUV design and spacious interiors. Equity benchmark indices Sensex closed in the red for the fourth session in a row on Tuesday as the ongoing AGR issue weighed on telecom and financial stocks. At the closing bell, the index was down 161.31 points at 40,894.38. The NSE barometer Nifty 2 staged a little recovery from the day's low and settled at 11,992.5, showing a fall of 53.3 points. Gold prices rose by 239 rupees to 41,865 rupees per 10 gram in the national capital on positive global cues and rupee depreciation. Silver prices also jumped 296 rupees to 47,584 rupees per kg from 47,288 rupees per kg on Monday. Crude oil futures on Tuesday fell by 44 rupees to 3,692 rupees per barrel after participants reduced positions tracking weak trend overseas. Indian rupees skids 24 paise to settle at 71.56 against the US dollar. The Delhi International Airport Limited said that Delhi's Indira Gandhi International Airport has become free of single-use plastic usage. DIAL said the objective to make Delhi Airport free from single-use plastic is in line with Prime Minister's vision to abolish all single-use plastic from India by 2022. Bangla has been ranked as the 7th most spoken language of the world in 2019. The 22nd edition of the World Language Database Ethnologue stated that Bangla has 228 million speakers around the world. Air purifying plants are in focus at the 34th edition of the Noida Flower Show, which will commence from 21st February. Focus of the 3-day-long extravaganza would be on inculcating love for nature amongst children. Maharashtra State Road Transport Corporation has bought 385 breath analyzers for the first time to ensure its drivers don't take to the wheel after consuming alcohol. The fund of 1 crore rupees was allocated last year for the same. The Jammu and Kashmir Wildlife Protection Department has begun a census of migratory birds in 13 wetlands of the Kashmir Valley on Monday. The aim is to identify the current status of wetlands which harbour a number of migratory birds. Noted Kuchipudi danceress Shalu Jindal has been honoured with the prestigious Urvashi Award for her contribution to Indian dance and music during the Kamla Desha Rajakumara Music Festival. Copenhagen is brightening itself up in the dark winter season with the Danish capital's 23-day light festival. A green laser beam stretching almost 4 kilometers across the city's sky will stay lit during the entire festival to remind people of leaving their warm houses and visiting the different displays on well-known bridges, buildings and squares. Daily airstrikes and bombs prompted Syrian father Abdullah Muhammad to come up with a new way to help his daughter Salva adapt to the sounds of war. He encourages the 3-year-old to simply laugh whenever she hears the sound of bombs or missiles. Mexico is grappling with an acute shortage of essential medicines to fight cancer for parents of patients like a 5-year-old kid, Hermes Soto. The ordeal of it is compounded by fears of another round of shortages in the supply of the life-saving drug. Russian and Syrian government airstrikes yesterday hit Darat Iza near the Turkish border around 30 kilometers north of Aleppo city. One of the hospitals suffered heavy damage with several left wounded. The Syrian army has taken full control of dozens of towns in Aleppo's northwestern countryside and said it would press on with its campaign to wipe out terror groups wherever they are found. Meanwhile, talks between Turkish and Russian officials to de-escalate tensions in Syria's northwestern Idlib province will continue today. Ankara and Moscow have failed last week to reach an accord after a call between Presidents Tayyip Erdogan and Vladimir Putin. Storm Dennis has triggered more severe flood warnings in parts of the UK. In Hertfordshire, the River Wey has risen to its highest level on record. Roads and railways were badly affected by the downpours and winds. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Defence has deployed troops in West Yorkshire, Northern Ireland and England, in fact, which suffered badly from flooding caused by last weekend's storm Ciara. A division among French lawmakers became apparent in Parliament as the controversial pension reform bill that provoked massive transport strikes and regular protests reached the National Assembly floor. Meanwhile, unions marched in Paris saying the reform would also hurt the country's job market. At least 10 people have been killed and around 35 injured in a suicide blast that hit a police vehicle in southwestern Pakistan on Wednesday. 2 police personnel are also among those killed in the blast. February 2020 marks the 75th anniversary of the Battle of Iwo Jima, one of the bloodiest fighting during World War II, which claimed the lives of nearly 7,000 US Marines and about 21,000 Japanese defenders died on a small Japanese island. U.S. Democratic presidential candidate Bernie Sanders stepped up his attacks on former New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg during a campaign rally in Tacoma in Washington by attacking Donald Trump and saying that both of them are billionaires and are trying to use their wealth to bend a corrupt political system. Meanwhile, Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden offered his views on what went wrong in the first states to vote in the Democratic presidential race in New Hampshire. Biden posted a fifth-place finish. The dismal performance came just 8 days after the Iowa caucuses, where Biden finished fourth. U.S. Senator Elizabeth Warren also took some potshots at billionaires, including rival Michael Bloomberg, and made a pitch for Democratic unity as she campaigned in Nevada. Warren, touting her wealth tax, said it might make some billionaires cry and told supporters it was fear of it that may have drawn billionaire Michael Bloomberg into the race. Pete Buttigieg, the moderate 38-year-old former mayor of South Bend, Indiana, campaigned in Reno, Nevada, quoting voters ahead of the state's upcoming caucus. Nevada will hold the next contest on 22nd February in state-by-state race to pick a Democratic opponent for President Trump. The crucial meeting of the Financial Action Task Force began in Paris on Monday. The plenary session of the FATF will take stock of Pakistan's role in terror financing. The statement posted on the FATF website said that the session will review progress made by Pakistan and some other countries that present a risk to the financial system. The week-long FATF plenary will decide Pakistan's fate, who sponsors terrorist groups like Lashkar-e-Taiba, Jaish-e-Mohammed and Hizbul Mujahideen, whose prime target is India. India, however, has urged FATF to take action against Islamabad. Campaigning for Friday's parliamentary election in Iran is in full swing, with reformists and conservatives pulling out all the stops to woo voters. Thousands of candidates are competing for 290 seats in the polls, in which more than 47 million Iranians are eligible to vote and 3 million are first-time voters. It is to be noted that the elections come at a crucial time for the country as it seeks to resist and negotiate intense pressure and sanctions from the administration of U.S. President Donald Trump over its nuclear program. Angry protesters in the Haitian capital Port-au-Prince set carnival stands on fire as anti-government protests spilled over in the rest of Caribbean nation. Angry at the government's budget for the 2020 carnival celebrations, protesters argue that money could not have been better spent. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau called for a peaceful solution to end rail blockades by Indigenous rights groups protesting the construction of a natural gas pipeline. The $4.97 billion pipeline would move natural gas from northeastern British Columbia to the Pacific coast. Equatorial Guinea argued at the World Court that a Paris mansion used by its president Teodoro Obiang's son was protected by diplomatic immunity when it was raided by French authorities almost exactly 8 years ago. At a camp near South Sudan's capital, soldiers marched alongside ex-rebels who had arrived a day earlier and did not yet have uniforms, as the former warring sides hastily formed a joint force to protect VIPs, a key plank of a 2018 peace deal. Commuters in Lagos are finding their journeys to work even more torturous in Nigeria's notoriously gridlocked commercial capital after a ban on commercial motorbikes and rickshaws, prompting protests and the hashtag Lagos is walking to trend on Twitter. In Burkina Faso, gunmen have killed 24 people and wounded 18 in an attack on a Protestant church in a village in northern region. The incident took place during a weekly service and killed 24, including the pastor, and 18 others were wounded. The death toll from the coronavirus outbreak in mainland China reached at least 1,868, with 93 more deaths in Hubei and 5 more in other parts of the country, with an additional 1,886 new infections across the country, but mostly from Hubei, bringing the nationwide total to at least 72,436. The 5th edition of exercise Ajay Warrior 2020 Indo-UK joint military exercise began at Salisbury Plains in the UK. During the exercise, the two sides will practice counter-terrorism drills. The resident of Wuhan's Wuchang Hospital in central China's Hubei province, Liu Jiming, died at the age of 51 from novel coronavirus pneumonia today. Liu died despite all attempts made by medical staff to cure him. 88 people tested positive for the virus on the Diamond Princess cruise ship quarantined off the port of Yokohama, bringing the total number of infected passengers to 542 as per the Health Ministry. The Chinese Parliament's top committee will meet on the 24th of February to discuss whether to delay the annual March meeting of the full Parliament amid the country's coronavirus outbreak. The Standing Committee of the National People's Congress will deliberate a proposal for the delay of the March session. The outbreak also caused over 24 trade fairs and industry conferences in China and overseas to be postponed due to travel curbs and concerns about the spread of coronavirus potentially disrupting deals worth billions of dollars. The first group of patients infected with novel coronavirus pneumonia was discharged from Lieshenschen Hospital, a makeshift hospital newly built to contain the epidemic in Wuhan, central China's Hubei province. Sachin Tendulkar won the Laureus Best Sporting Moment Award for the historic 2011 World Cup win. He got the maximum number of votes to emerge as winner. Former Australian skipper Steve Waugh handed the trophy to Tendulkar. India claimed 5 silver and 6 bronze medals at the ongoing 2020 Asian Youth and Junior Weightlifting Championships in Tashkent, Uzbekistan. In 45 kilograms category, KVL Pavani Kumari won silver medals in both youth girls and junior women's section. While Mukund Aher in 49 kilograms clinched a silver in youth boys category with a lift of 189 kilograms. In 45 kilogram category, Harshada Gaur clinched 2 bronze medals. In a landmark decision, the anti-doping disciplinary panel of the NADA has banned Haryana's Amit Dahiya for 4 years for evading dope sample collection by sending a proxy during the National Javelin Throw Open Championships last year. Hockey India announced the 24-member team for the upcoming FIH Pro League. Manpreet Singh will lead India against world number 2 Australia, while Harmanpreet Singh will shoulder the duties of the vice-captain in the matches to be held in Bhubaneswar. The 24-member squad will comprise goalkeepers PR Srijesh and Krishan Pathak, besides outfielders Amit Rohidas, Surinder Kumar, Virendra Lakra, Harmanpreet Singh, Varun Kumar, Gurinder Singh and Rupinder Pal Singh as well. Formula 1 champion Lewis Hamilton and Barcelona forward Lionel Messi have been declared joint winners of the Laureus World Sportsman of the Year award in Berlin, with the voting tied for the first time in the award's 20-year history. Manchester United picked up the first win in 4 matches in the Premier League by beating Chelsea 2-0 at Stamford Bridge. Goals from Anthony Martial and Harry Maguire, either side of half-time, secured Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's side all 3 points in West London, as Chelsea had 2 goals ruled out by VAR. Chelsea manager Frank Lampard told his side the fight starts now for a place in the Champions League next season after suffering a 2-0 smash and grab defeat at the hands of Manchester United. Red Devils reached 3 points of the Premier League's top 4. 4th place Chelsea remain without a victory in the English top flight since 11th January. West Indies cricketer O'Shan Thomas's car overturned during the car collision and he was taken to a local hospital in Jamaica, but the extent of the injuries remain unknown. The West Indies Players Association wished speedy recovery to O'Shane, who last played for the West Indies in January this year. Barcelona have denied trying to boost the image of club president Josep Maria Bartomeu by hiring a company that criticized current and former players, including Lionel Messi, on social media. East Bengal defeated Indian Arrows 3-1 in their I-League game at the iconic Cooperage Stadium as the Bengal-based outfit took revenge of their earlier loss. With this game, I-League returned to the Cooperage after 3 years. Kings 11 Punjab is set to acquire the St. Lucia franchise of the Caribbean Premier League, becoming the second IPL team to own a CPL outfit after KKR. AC Milan closed in on the European places in Syria after anti-Rebecca fired them to a 1-0 win over Torino. Rebecca's winning goal was his sixth in 7 games in all competitions. Kim Clijsters says she is going to plow ahead with her tennis comeback despite losing her return match 6-2, 7-6, 8-6 to Garbiñe Muguruza in the opening round of the WTA event in Dubai. 13-time major winner Mickey Wright has died at the age of 85. She was often described as the greatest woman golfer of all time. Her haul of major victories included 4 U.S. Women's Open titles and 4 U.S. Women's PGA Championships. Vietnam's inaugural Formula One Grand Prix will take place in Hanoi in April as it was planned. The race will be held on the 5th of April. The All India Institute of Medical Sciences in Delhi has introduced a cutting-edge 3D printing technology for jaw joint replacements to acquire accuracy in such procedures. Dental surgeons from across the country are being trained through a workshop. To ensure safety and security of people travelling in cabs, the Delhi Police along with Uber has launched the Himmat Plus app at the Indira Gandhi International Airport. In case of an emergency, the police headquarters will receive the real-time location of a driver or a rider through this app so that a PCR van can be assigned to provide assistance. Apple Inc. has a warning protest investors that it won't meet its second quarter financial guidance because the viral outbreak in China has cut production of iPhones. The company also said that its production is ramping up slowly. People who exhibit lifelong, persistent antisocial behavior may have smaller surface areas in several brain regions compared to others, according to a study published in The Lancet Psychiatry. The discovery may lead to better interventions for juvenile offenders. Early exposure of babies to household cleaning products like laundry soap and dishwasher detergent is associated with the development of childhood asthma and wheezing, according to a study, as these are linked to the highest risk of respiratory issues. France's Agriculture Ministry said that tomato plants in far west Finistère region have been contaminated with a destructive virus that can lead to a whole lot of crops being wasted as there is no known treatment for the virus. Eating a Mediterranean diet, which includes meals built around fruits and vegetables, boosts gut bacteria linked to healthy aging while suppressing microbes associated with harmful inflammation, according to a study, which may lead to better clinical food recommendations for old people. Researchers have developed a new device that uses a natural bacteria-derived protein to create electricity from moisture in the air, an advance that may help produce renewable energy that can work indoors, unlike solar and wind-based generators. A Northrop Grumman Cygnus resupply spacecraft arrived at the International Space Station carrying more than 3,628 kilograms of cargo. NASA astronauts Andrew Morgan and Jessica Meir oversaw the rendezvous and capture of the craft, which will remain docked at ISS until May. Actor Jeff Bridges has illustrated his daughter Isabel Bridges' boisterous children's book, Daddy Daughter Day. The book will be released in October by Dark Horse Comics. Songwriter Ozzy Osbourne has cancelled the North American trek of his No More tours too amid a series of health problems. The news comes almost a month after the musician revealed his Parkinson's diagnosis. Actor and filmmaker Stanley Tucci will lend his voice to a BBC Radio 4 series named The Californian Century, based on the lives of some of California's most influential personalities. Actors Ruth Wilson and Matt Bomer are set to play the lead role in AIDS activism drama titled The Book of Ruth. The movie, based on a true story, will be directed by two-time Tony Award-nominated theatre director Michael Arden. Documentary on former U.S. President Jimmy Carter will be the opening film at the 2020 Tribeca Film Festival. The world premiere will take place on 15th April at New York's Beacon Theatre. The makers of Bunty or Bubbly 2 announced the release date of the film to be 26th of June. The film, being touted as a rebooted sequel, reunites Rani Mukherjee and Saif Ali Khan after 11 years. Filmmaker Neeraj Pandey and Shivam Nair will co-direct Special Ops, which is an action-packed spy thriller series to be mounted on international scale. The series will also mark the director's digital debut. Bollywood actor Anil Kapoor and his son Harshvardhan to co-star in an upcoming movie. Both the actors will produce and star together in Olympic shooter Abhinav Bindra's biopic. Actors Taapsee Pannu and Tahir Raj Bhasin are set to lead the Hindi adaptation of acclaimed German thriller Run Lola Run. The Hindi version, titled Loop Lapeta, is slated for January 2021 release. Kiara Advani's Netflix original Guilty trailer was released today. The film, slated for release on the 6th of March on Netflix, explores themes of sexual consent and victim blaming. Kannada playback singer Sushmita has allegedly committed suicide by hanging at her mother's residence in the city. Her mother has alleged dowry harassment as reason for her daughter's death. The teaser of actor Nani's upcoming Telugu thriller movie V is out. V promises to be a slick action thriller that will keep audiences guessing. Catch the psychological thriller Bhanga Bhanga Chobi, the Bengali theatre adaptation of Girish Karnad's Broken Images, at Bharat Rang Mahotsav in Delhi tomorrow. Jashn-e-Hind, a three-day celebration of India's cultural heritage and ethos through a series of panel discussions, classical dance and music performances, plays, mushaira and Sufi music, is scheduled to begin in Delhi from the 21st of February. Poet Shamshur Rehman Farooqi, Kathak maestro Birju Maharaj, Kavari singing Sabri Brothers, flautist Ajay Prasanna, all will be in attendance. And that's all that we have for you in this edition of Express News. News and updates will continue on DD India. Thanks for watching.